you can check with utilities. There's RECs a lot in the country, and Lakeview has a private small, and you can check with them and see if they've got enough payloaders, big loaders. They're out in the field making trails in the snow and ice.
Right, to get to the...
And I don't know if they have enough. I've seen, in my area, construction companies have been called in, but I don't know in the long term needs more firepower.
Right, right.
As more trucks get up here. It looks like, we might be getting short on payloaders.
Okay.
Those big loaders
The private guys are plowing right now.
Yeah.
Well, we'd like to be able to feed the crews that are working too, but unless Jim's got a whole heck of a lot of food, we're in trouble.
Okay.
So we can't, we like those guys from Colorado and all over. I know they have motel rooms. The whole place here is full, but there's no way to feed them.
There's no restaurants. There's no grocery store.
We have a restaurant that would cook.
If it could be open, right.
Okay. Well, that's all very helpful. And what other issues or concerns?
From an ag standpoint, if people have certain dealership arrangements, but like the John Deere dealership in Sac and Carroll, they're not connected with Winco or a company, and so. But if somebody could get those 25 and 30 kilowatt generators to, for example, Schenkelberg's a big. Well, you drove by it probably in Carroll and out here. That might be helpful. I mean, the guy west of town, he sells generators, but he can't get any. And I think that's a big concern from the confinement, hog buildings, and there's a lot in Carroll. So,
yeah, okay.
And those generators, if you run them, they ran them in the Christmas storm.
Yeah.
We've had two, and that's probably a concern because I'd like to buy one and.
Can't find it.
I mean, I don't care what I have to pay. I just...
Right. Okay. Very good.
What's the universal consensus out there? I mean, what have you been hearing?
The same. I mean, my list from Carroll is very similar to this, but I'm disappointed to hear that I mean, they've got some generators there that were delivered, so that's not acceptable that you haven't gotten yours yet.
Honestly, it was very disturbing yesterday. We started at 9 o'clock. Yep, no problem. They called. They want to know what size, so we called our people who were going to make these shelters and say, what kind of service do you have in there? 3-phase. What is it? We got that. A little bit later, this was mid-morning, later in the afternoon, they call me. They say, well, now we need to know how big a generator do you need, how many kilowatts. Well, I'm not an electrician.
Right.
I don't know these things. And then, so we quick run down all these people, have them put their things in, and finally at 5 o'clock last night, I get a call from Joyce, who says, well, I think we may have found you some generators now. Well, all along, we were in the impression they were on the way. And she says, now we know where to go if we need one. And I'm like, well, why didn't you tell us that? We spoke with the National Guard, we spoke with Joyce at Homeland Security, and we still don't have them, nor do we know if they're coming.
Okay. And was it Joyce and Teresa, or Joyce?
I spoke with Joyce and Teresa.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
As well as I.
And then how about the Guard? Who from the Guard in Carroll or?
No, National Guard over at Johnston.
Okay.
She said, let me walk across the hall and talk to the gentleman over there. Fine, great. I'm glad we're in that facility. Right. Walked across there. I told him I need 100 cots. Okay, where do you want them at? I gave him the address. They didn't come.
You still haven't gotten those either?
No, we haven't gotten those.
All right.
And if it goes on, we're going to need some cots too. I mean, we're going to need some cots if we get more people. Too,
right.
So.
We have 6.
Beds, yeah.
Well, the Red Cross told me that they were leaving their truck packed, and that if we needed them, I was there this morning, that they would come back.
They would come back. And as you are aware of the weather pattern that's coming at us this weekend, if we get the winds that they're predicting, we're going to have a bigger problem than what we're in right now.
40.
And what happened to them?
They went back. Was it a 6:30?
I had a meeting with them at 7:30 this morning. Bruce, and I apologize, I forgot his last name. He was the state representative. He, in turn, his words were, I'm going to call my boss They called the boss, whoever he was down at the state. Those two came to the conclusion, Bruce Spence is his name, they came to the conclusion that they should pull out. There was a couple of Red Cross people that thought, no, we should stay at least through the weekend. Bruce and his boss decided we should move. They packed up and left. They were out of here by 10 o'clock.
Okay. And you did that even after you told him you wanted to stay?
Well, it wasn't up to us. He asked my opinion. My opinion was, we're doing fine now because the lights were on. This is great. If the lights are on, you're not going to get people coming into the warm.
So you'd like them to come back?
Well, I don't. Here we are. I mean, if somebody else is a
I think you should err on the side of getting more, just in case, because of the unknown duration.
Yeah, the warming issue, like Rick said, will be more critical with the wind blowing and colder temperatures.
Okay.
And that's going to slow up the repair, and it might make more repair. So it's
okay. And who do you want? I need to get definitely your contact information. Who else should I follow up with on this list?
Either I or the sheriff.
Okay, great. I'll get both of your numbers, and let me get to work on this list, and we'll try to turn things around here for you.
Appreciate you coming up.
Yeah. Well, I'm sorry that you're having these challenges. I mean, it's bad enough to have to deal with the situation, much less have the added frustration of not, getting things in a timely manner. So,
Governor, the RAC's foreman has offered to take you around to some different sites if you're interested in seeing that.
We are. How are we doing, Greg?
We have to be there at 2:30.
And where are we going next? We're going to Crawford.
Crawford County, yeah.
So we have
probably a half-hour drive.
Yeah, I've got a half hour or so.
Hour. You have 45 minutes.
No, you might want to give yourself a little more time than that.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I have seen a lot of this. It's just
it seems like quite often the feeder lines are of better construction. The rural RECs are not built quite as heavily because they don't have as much load.
Okay.
And what I've seen in the rural areas is really bad.
Okay. No, I know it's.
Yeah, those folks are going to be out, 5-7 days, they say.
Oh, I think at least. I would say 7 to 10.
Right. Well, and the concern I have too is that the ice that's on the lines now, I mean, if they're not down yet,
When are we going to win?
they're going to go. I mean, in too many cases, I'm afraid. So it's not. I mean, but I hope I'm wrong about that.
We do too.
We do. But, all right. Well, let me get both of your contact info, your cell phone.
On our section, about 2 miles away.
How you doing?
It was fine before the spot. Went back to
we'd have
Second part of the
Hey, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you while you were talking. I thought you were done.
I probably should have been here, but it is kind of.
So far, it's not. I can just see if it goes through the weekend, then we're gonna.
Yeah, that's what. Maybe it was.
It's warm enough,
But it's good to be prepared.
It's warm enough. Again, like I said, we're gonna leave our people just for now. Then if we get a lot of people out the street, then I don't know.